Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today, we're going to be talking about something that didn't even happen on Sunday. That's right, we're going to be making our video on what happened in The Walking Dead. Spoiler alert. This is 100% spoiler territory. If you have not seen, if you are not caught up with The Walking Dead all the way through season 6 to the season 6 season finale, click out of this video, or if you don't care about spoilers, go ahead and watch it. But we're going to be talking about what happened, why it happened, how it happened, and why it's the worst I've ever... So let me set the scene for you. This is the season finale. The entire second half of season 6 of The Walking Dead is all about more groups, bigger world we're living in, and it's all about Rick and the survivors kind of coming into their own, standing on their own 2 feet in this new world. At the beginning of the episode, and in the past episodes, Rick has said some various comments like, this is our world, as long as we're together, we can take what we want, and sort of that mentality of, we've built this community, we can survive consistently now. Now we have this powerful feeling like, yes, we can take on the world, we can take on anything. And so when they encounter this different group, the Saviors, they think, oh, this group we've messed with groups before, groups have messed with us before, and we've always come out on top because we're together. But in this episode, they do a great job at kind of proving that wrong. And a lot of people really criticize the fact that basically, well, what happens is Maggie gets sick because she's pregnant, and we need to get her to, well, the doctor, because the doctor died a couple episodes ago because they're really stupid about bringing the doctor out into the zombie apocalypse, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, they need to get Maggie to the hilltop, a different community, to get her fixed, healed, whatever. They just need a plot device to get all of our major characters in the same setting. That's basically what they're doing. So, as they're going out, they're taking the RV, and they encounter a roadblock of Saviors. How the Saviors know they're going to the hilltop, I'm not exactly sure, but we know for a fact that they know they want to get to the hilltop. So the Saviors block them, and then they have this really tense encounter, but they do something that I really like, and I think is realistic. The Saviors let them go because they need to prove them something. They let them go, and the survivors try to find a different pathway to the hilltop. But this being very realistic, there are only a certain amount of roads to the actual hilltop. So the Saviors block each and every road there. And they block it probably 3 times. They show it 3 times, and each time it gets more and more tense. And I like this because it's very tension building, and it's showing you can't go anywhere. We know where you're going, and we are so much bigger than you that we don't even need to kill you. We don't need to threaten you. We don't need to do anything except stand in your way and challenge you. That is so powerful, and that was so tense. And there's a scene where they're driving up, and you see like 50 Saviors just standing on cars, just waiting, and it's like, wow, we have no chance at this. This is so much bigger than we ever thought. So they come up with a plan. They try to go on foot because they can predict the roads, but they can't predict, the woods and stuff, but somehow they are able to predict the woods and, plot stuff here and there. But then the scene everybody's talking about, Negan. This is one of the best scenes in Walking Dead history. The tension is so awful. It's so mind-melting. It's so incredibly stressful just watching it. And the acting in this episode by Andrew Lincoln is the best acting I've seen in a long time. He sells it. He owns it. He is perfect. Because at the beginning, He's like, together, we can do anything. And as he's leaving Alexandria, one of the survivors is like, I forget his name, but he's like, what if Negan comes here? What if we're here? And Andrew Lincoln, very cocky, goes, tell him I'll have a deal for him, knowing full well he's just being cocky, like, yeah, I'm totally going to kill him. But at the end of this episode, the look on his face is just defeated. It's so terrified, and it's so brilliant. That man is a great actor, and that is absolutely fantastic. The hesitation he has to kneel is so awesome. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I have not read the comics, so I'm not familiar with the mannerisms of Negan. I don't know exactly how he's like. I've heard how he is, and I've heard that Jeffrey Dean Morgan didn't really portray him as some people may have thought in the comic books. But for me, just watching it, I feel like this is a great villain. He had me terrified and laughing at the same time. The Pee Pee Pants City people don't like because it's really like childlike, but it's so childlike that it's funny. It's so ridiculous that it's funny and terrifying and just unnerving how calm and how happy Negan is in this very stressful moment. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan did a fantastic job as Negan. And I haven't played GTA 5, but I think Trevor, that's him in GTA 5. I think that's his character in GTA 5. He did a great job as a savior too. Very ominous. Again, sort of like Negan. Very kind of relatable. Not really relatable because he's kind of overall evil, but the way he flicks Carl's hat is really funny. He was very intimidating. Very well done. But now we get to the point. Negan is here, and the group has killed so many people, so many saviors. Just they were the first ones to kill the saviors. They went out looking for saviors to kill because they thought they were a threat, which they are a very big threat. Now, Negan needs revenge. He doesn't necessarily need revenge, but he needs to punish the wrongdoings of our group, because the saviors have not done anything to our group. They've threatened before, but not necessarily to the extent of seeking out and murdering a whole bunch of people in their sleep like our group has done. So what Negan wants to do is kill one of us and have the rest of us work for him. And so he simply can't decide who to kill. So he's going to play a game of eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and then he's going to take Lucille, a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, and beat somebody to death. And of course, he plays eeny, meeny, miny, moe. He selects the person, and from a first-person point of view, we see ourselves being beaten to death, and the end credits roll. We have no idea who he selected, and that's the episode. This is one of the biggest slaps in the face, spits in the face that anybody can do at this point in time. This is probably one of the most disappointing moments in The Walking Dead history. We have this beautiful hour-and-a-half episode, 90-minute episode, build up of tension. The entire season, half season, was built up these saviors. Who is Negan? Who is Negan? What's gonna happen? Our survivors are doing bad things. What are the consequences of these things? We don't have anything to fear at this point in time. Negan comes in, now we have something to fear. All of this tension, all of this buildup, what's gonna happen? And they just stop. And they just stop right before that resolution, right before the climax, they stop. So now that all that tension, all of those weeks and moments of fear and stress is going to have to wait until October. Now let me tell you what's going to happen. In October, I'm going to stop caring about all that tension. I'm not going to be tense. I'm not going to be stressful. I'm not going to be anxious. I'm just going to walk into this episode like, oh, that's who they killed. And all of that tension, all of that beautiful stress that they have built up this season is just gone, diminished. This is awful storytelling. Now, I know Scott Gimple and I think Robert Kirkman have defended this by saying, well, this is the end of the story. This is where Negan comes in, Rick doesn't have power anymore, and he realizes it. That's the end of the story. Who he kills begins the next part of the story. That is their defense for this cliffhanger. let me tell you something right now, as a fact. If that were true, if this were really the end of the story, we would be talking about the implications of this. We would be talking about the future of The Walking Dead. We would be talking about Season 7 and how this dynamically changes our group. That's what we would be talking about if this were truly the end of that story. But no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about who he killed, and who he killed. Because who he kills is really the end of the story. Because who he kills, if it's Maggie, if it's Glenn, if it's Daryl, if it's Michonne, each of those things, each of those characters, that is what gets us talking about the next season. That is what dynamically changes our group. Who he kills is very, very important. There is a big difference between killing Aaron and killing Daryl. Yes, we get it. Negan has power over us now. But who he kills is the key component to the next series, to the next season. And honestly, this is not even an enticing cliffhanger. This is a bad cliffhanger at that. This is not so much as a cliffhanger as it is missing information. Because if this scene is 60 seconds longer, let me tell you what's going to happen. In the comic book, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, I guarantee you've probably heard them by now, but if not, you can go ahead and click away from the video just real quick. In the comic book, Glenn is chosen and Negan beats him to death. But if this scene in the television show is 60 seconds longer, just 1 minute longer, we pan out, we see who Negan killed, and we see the group react to the terrified, brilliant again acting by everybody there, and we see Negan and his army say, you know what, now you work for us now, this is the punishment you'll get if you try to define us, and then we have Negan and his entire group just go away, leave our survivors to actually go to the hilltop and, rescue Maggie if she's still alive, and get her healed. And we have him saying ta-ta and just walk away from the group, knowing that they are in full control and ready to let our survivors live. That is so enticing. That gets me excited for Season 7. Because now, Eugene is dead. Now, Daryl is dead. Now, this person is dead. And now we can talk about what the implications of that actually are. But instead, we're focused on who it is because that's what ultimately matters. That 60 seconds is missing information. They're comparing it to Empire Strikes Back, but that is completely and utterly ludicrous. It's stupid, and you're stupid if you believe that this is any sort of comparable to Empire Strikes Back, because what they did here, having Negan beat this unknown person, is like saying, Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your relative. I could be your uncle, I could be your cousin, I could be your brother, I could be your father, but I'm gonna let you wait until the next episode to find out. No, that's not what he did. He told them straight up, I am your father. The implications of him being his father is what we had to look forward to in the next episode. Who Negan's beating is like Luke being Darth Vader's son. We're trying to figure out the implications of each and every character's death in this episode rather than speculating what that death could mean in the next episode and the next seasons to come. And let me tell you why they did this. This is why it frustrates me. This is why it upsets me, because this cliffhanger is exactly what supply drops are in Call of Duty. That's right, I'm comparing it to Call of Duty because this is nothing more than a publicity stunt. This is nothing more than a stunt to get views and money and ratings. Because now, hopefully, we're going to be talking about, who'd he killed? There's even a stupid hashtag who was it or who is it? Hashtag who cares? I don't care, because all the tension's going to be gone next season. It's like they have absolutely no confidence in their writers and in their actors and in their editors to create this compelling experience to bring us back to next season, so they have to rely on these cheap tactics. We should be talking about how absolutely phenomenal Andrew Lincoln was. We should be talking about how absolutely great and tension building these roadblocks were. We should be talking about how great, calm, cool, collected, and just terrifying Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in this episode. We should be talking about how awesome that Eugene scene was in this episode, how excited we should be about the bullets that we're gonna create and manufacture in the seasons to come. We should be excited about this brand new expanded world we have never seen in The Walking Dead before, but instead we're caught up in who is it? That is cheap, that is underlying, that's a cop-out, and that is nothing but ratings and money whoring. So we have this beautiful piece of art. Issue 100 of the comic books was the scene in its entirety. You saw who he beat and you saw the repercussions of that. You went away from that comic feeling the sense of hatred for Negan and this fear for Negan. This emotion, this compelling nature, this beautiful piece of art is now just molested by this TV show cliche. People say, oh, cliffhangers have been in television for so long, that's just how it is. Just because that's how it is doesn't mean that's the best way of going about it. I think we learned that with slavery. Just because that's how it is, that's just how life is, that's how the world works, doesn't mean it's the best way to live. This could have been a beautiful piece of art, but instead, it's now a cliffhanger because that's how it is. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And that's my thoughts on The Walking Dead Cliffhanger. This is just another beautiful piece of art like Guitar Hero, like Call of Duty, like now The Walking Dead comics that have been completely and utterly molested for money and views and popularity. I hope the ratings on this episode are so low that they've learned their lesson never to do this again. I hope there is so much backlash on this episode that I just wish something changes. I wish we can have our beautiful piece of art and just have it be that. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys watch The Walking Dead? If you don't watch The Walking Dead, why are you 20 minutes into this video? You're ridiculous. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next absolutely beautiful I guess Walking Dead morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, have a great day. Or should I say, and as always, have a great